Hi,
Recording.
everybody. Recording in progress. Welcome to Honey, Let's Heal. We're here. We did it. We made it.
We're here,
Thank- Thanks for joining us.
ready to roll.
Mm. We're a new podcast geared toward self-healers. Honey, Let's Heal. Um, we've done a little brainstorming and we have a bunch of different topics, and I think Natasha's gonna pull uh what is it called? A bunny out of the hat?
Rabbit out of the hat on
Yeah.
Easter.
Oh, that's hilarious. Of course. Of
Ready?
course.
Are we just jumping right in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go. Let's see. What's this one? It was a long
Oh, it's a
one.
big one. Yep. Of course it is.
Ooh, fear. Its
Ooh,
impact on you and the environment around you.
what a good jumping off point. I have goosebumps.
Something. Fear. Mm,
That's a good one. Fear. I just think my brain immediately goes to like the way the world is driven by fear,
yes.
how
Yes.
the majority of people are making decisions out of fear and out of survival mode.
Yes. Fear of lack, fear of, I think there's a big fear too of people just not knowing who they are. So
Oh,
then that
totally.
contributes to them not really knowing how to interact and act in the world.
Oh yeah. Plus you have all of like the culture, wokeness, needing to be
Yes.
politically correct, like taking politics as your identity.
Yes.
Yeah, it's wild how I mean, it's a huge driver, right? Like
Hmm.
when we fear that our needs aren't going to be met, we get desperate
I
and we
think that's a
act.
big, oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
So I think that's a huge contributor to our culture too of being a bystander. There's so many times you see instances of violence, crime, and people just watching or becoming so, I don't know if it's necessarily just that they're just numb to the violence or there's the fear of interacting or the fear of interjecting, either possible fear to themselves or fear of judgment from others of, well, if I help this person, then that means people will think I'm this, instead of
Mm,
just what's the basic human kindness and what should
right.
we do when someone is in a vulnerable
Wow.
position.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you think people hold themselves back from doing the right thing because they want to be seen with like a specific political party?
I
Am
think,
I
or even
following?
maybe not even just a certain political party, but just within a certain lens of, um, well, because you look at, I can't remember the woman that was brutally murdered on the subway earlier this year. She was from a different country, white female,
Mm.
attacked by an African American male. People watched. She was stabbed in the neck, and it was on the news all over. And
Whoa.
it was connected to illegal immigration and things like that, where it's,
Oh, wow.
um, why did everyone just sit and watch
Just watch,
after that
right?
happened? Was it shock? Was it, well, gosh, if I get involved and it's
I could
a
get
white
hurt.
female, that
Mm.
piece, or it's a white female um, being perpetrated against by a black male. If I interject, then I'm racist because you know what I mean? Like there's some
Yes,
people's
yes,
thought
yes.
process, right? And that's the
Oh,
crazy part.
totally.
Yeah,
Yes,
where,
we have been so twisted up mentally. Yes, 1,000%. We
mm-hmm,
have like this weird mass hypnosis that has happened, and we're all victims of it to some degree, right? Like we take on
mm-hmm,
programming through television, news, whatever media, music we're taking in, and we let
yes,
it twist our mind up,
yep,
and we let ourselves detach from our humanness, and we get
mm-hmm,
more in our mind, and we like body comes second type thing. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
Because it
huge
shouldn't matter
energy on
what
the
race,
planet.
gender, ethnicity, religion, political
No,
preference. Anyone is. We should be helping people. And like the whole
agreed.
bystanding culture is just very, very odd right now. Just to see people being willing to do nothing. And like, what's the fear
Yes.
behind that? Or what's
Mm,
maybe the reasoning behind why we see such a huge shift to that right now?
yeah.
Fear of judgment. I don't know.
Yep. I also feel like my brain went somewhere and I'm like, oh, a lot of us we don't know what action to take. Like
Mm,
we don't know how to get ourselves out of this. We don't know what the next right step is.
hmm
Because when I think on like a collective level, like with the e-files and how it seems like collectively like we've just kind of moved past it already, which is crazy.
hmm Yes.
Um And I was at a comedy open mic this last week, and someone brought that up, and he was just kind of like being like, I can't believe you fucking idiots are over this already. Like, this is insane. And I was like, this
hmm
is insane. But also, like, everyone, the room tightens up. Like, no one wants to talk about it, no one wants to hear about it. Are we just in like a collective freeze? Like, we've been so traumatized
hmm
on so many levels, on the individual level and the collective level, that
Yep.
we don't know what action to take.
I definitely think that's part of it is, or like you said, the programming of just if we continue to do nothing, then there won't be any like revolution against the powers that be. And then we will just be
Yeah.
able to be continue to be controlled.
By our fear
Yes.
because we don't know our power. Yeah.
How do you, so what the, it's fear, its impact on you and the environment was
It's
our
impact. Ooh,
little, what is fear's impact? How are you impacted by fear? Or what effect
yeah.
does fear have on you personally?
I feel really bipolar around fear because on one level I feel like I'm not afraid of anything,
Mm,
but like that is a product of growing up in a chaotic household where my needs were not met on a consistent basis. So like it's not, I wouldn't say that that's good programming, but that's the operating system that I run on, I feel like.
hmm
But then I know subconsciously there's tons of fear, right? Like I
Yes.
had to protect myself from my own fear so I could survive. So there's lots of stuff under the surface that I don't know exists, right? Until I'm in the moment
Yep.
and being triggered by something. And then I become that 4-year-old girl again who was traumatized by something when like, someone trespassed against her energy in
hmm
some way. Um, mm. What about you?
I think it's when I think of the fear end, I think a lot of times for me, it's maybe that more surface level fear of like if something happened to someone in my family or being afraid of failure, things like that. When I think of fear of failure, it's how that stops me from doing something because then I can't make a
Yeah.
mistake or I can't be disappointed if I don't try
Mm,
that thing
yes.
because I will not have like set this expectation for myself. So to work past like the fear of failure is really interesting because I want to do more and I want to, bring things to others, but
Mm,
with the thought process too, well, what if nobody likes it? What if nobody
yeah.
wants to do this event or nobody comes to this thing?
Mm,
It wasn't good enough. So if I just choose to not do it at all, then I don't have
yeah.
to be
You're
um
protecting yourself.
yes, and I don't have to be disappointed with myself or let down.
Yeah. Oh,
And then that in
wow.
turn creates me not wanting to do things, right? So it's just like that sending out the frequency of, well, I'm too afraid to do it, so I'm not going to.
It's so
So
interesting because I don't see you that way at all. I don't feel like you're like when I observe you, I feel like, oh, this girl's not afraid of anything and this is why we're friends. So that's so funny that that's like your own internal process when I'm like, that's not the Natasha I know. Like, what are you talking about? That's so
uh,
cool.
but it's funny to see like how other people perceive you and
Totally.
then um
I
and how
think
you
that's the gift
react.
of life.
Mm,
It can be, depending on your own internal state, someone observing you can be the greatest gift or it can
right.
be the toughest blow, right?
Yes. Well, when I think of fear too, like when we think of our environment, we are all energetic beings. We all
Mm,
project energy. We all
mm.
receive energy. So if we are living in a constant state of fear, we are giving that feeling and that energy to all of the people around
Yes.
us too. And if we are giving
Yes.
that to the people around us, they are in turn taking that wherever they go and sharing that as well. So we are just creating
Yes.
on a huge collective within society, the world, the universe, this frequency of fear also. So I
Yeah.
think part of that for me is when I'm stuck in things like that, well, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to be let down if this isn't good enough. And you've helped me a lot with this is let's just do it. We have to do it. We have to try it and see what happens because it
Yeah.
could be exactly what somebody is looking for. And then
Mm.
we can change the frequency of our energy. And then the people that are connected to us and um, spending time with us will then get the energy of, confidence, optimism, and excitement when we
Yes.
can shift and change that within ourselves and then ripple effect
Yes.
to those around us and our
Absolutely.
all of the environments we're in.
Yay. And that's like us having to expand our mind and realize that we are energy first and human second, and that our energetic system that we exist within is so much bigger than just this right here. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we have like this radiation energy. I don't know if that's what but we radiate energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people receive that and it can either trigger them or they aren't phased by it or it's something that they really receive well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, that's so cool.
Well, and it's just interesting to try to like navigate through all of that to when
Oh
we live
yeah.
in such a fearful society and then trying to
Yes.
counteract that or trying to set these boundaries around all of the fear, social media, the
Mm,
news, just all of the things that are happening and operate in a way that can not cause us to sit in that frequency or that vibration of when we were
yep.
so exposed to scary things, World War III, famine. I mean, like the collapse of everything. And then,
Yeah.
but we
How
still have
long
to
does
go to
America
work.
have left? Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
for real.
you still have to go make money and you still have to pay the bills. But don't worry, like World War III is happening over here. We're going to have a shutdown over here.
Yes. And it feels like since COVID, that
Yeah.
it's just been the one thing after another. Um,
Yes.
where it like I don't know how I mean, many of us have hit breaking points along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a
Oh,
guest?
Brantley came up, so he was pulling the door shut.
Cute.
Yeah.
Oh, what a sweetie. Cute. Thought
Yeah,
maybe we
and
were
it's
gonna get
been just Briggs is just gonna sit over here
yes.
and um but yeah, since the C word, it's definitely just been what
See.
because I don't want to manifest it. I don't say
Well,
it out
yes.
loud.
Well, I never got it. And I believe with my whole being that the only reason I never got it is because I never gave it permission to be
Yes.
in my energy. I was just like, absolutely not. Like, no.
Yep. Same.
Energy, energy, energy.
Yes. Yep. Where in like since then, it has just been like, here's this thing to be afraid of, and then this thing, and then this thing, and we're just compounding it in the last barely 6 years. It's just something new at every turn and every corner.
Yes.
There hasn't really been any
Yes.
time of just peace, I feel like, for
No.
people,
Agreed. Agreed.
which again is that like that constant state of fear and trying to come
But
back
then
to what,
you're in survival mode, right? Like you can't
yes.
make good decisions from survival mode. You can't take the best care of yourself from survival mode. Like it's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
It's brutal. How did we get ourselves out of fear? Like when I when I think back to all the healing I've done, I got myself out of that. How did I do that? Do you feel like you had a period like that?
Oh, I think it's just definitely that realization of, am I going to continue to allow this to have power and control over me, or am I going to have power and control? Who do we want
Yes.
to have? Like, do we want that to belong to someone or something else? A lot of times I look at like this inanimate object is
Mm-hmm.
providing this fear, like has this power and control, or this person that I don't even like have an emotional connection to, or even someone that I don't might not even care about anymore, someone that I'm far beyond pissed at. You don't get to have power and control over me anymore,
Yes.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
Or when I think of like politicians, the elite, things like that, like promoting all of this fear, it's like, I don't even know you. You're probably
Yeah.
not even a real person, but I'm
Who knows?
right. So like I can't allow you to have power and control over me and cycle into
Yes.
chaos when you don't care about me.
Exactly. Oh my
And
God,
if
yes. And we've seen the evidence of that over and over. They don't
yes,
care about us. That
no,
is obvious. It made me think earlier, um, we're in a bad relationship. We're in an abusive relationship with our government and we need to get out.
yes,
How do we
yes,
get out? Like, how do we leave? It's not like there's a shelter we can go to
right,
that's like, help us. We need resources, you know? But like, seriously.
right. So I listen, as you know, to Andy Frisella all the time,
Yes.
every day. One of the
Mhm.
things that he says that I really like is, oh my gosh, how does it go now? Personal excellence is the what is like the highest form of rebellion, something along
Ooh,
that line. So like
goosebumps. Yep.
when you choose, and he'll say it like,
Mhm.
and to him, personal excellence is having and making money because you have
Okay.
freedom to do things.
Yes. Yep.
Physical health because you will live longer, and physical health being directly connected to your mental health only
Yes.
puts you in these positions. So he's always talking about like reading every single day, books about personal development and growth, being physically active. Um, and obviously, he's very, very wealthy because he has done all of these things to create businesses and thinking outside of the box. But
Hmm.
personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion, is what he says.
Okay.
And
Love that.
and he feels like when you do those things on when every single person does that on an individual basis,
Yes.
then we will create a larger group. When there are
Yes.
the larger group of normal people that um, are mindful and aware of the world around us, that are
Mm.
making healthy decisions for their body, staying active, um, and then again, like when it comes to making money for yourself, you're not dependent on anyone or anything else for your survival.
Hmm.
So that um, when I started listening to him more often, and he would say that over and over, I was like, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense because if every single person is doing that on an individual level, and then we jump
Hmm.
into a collective together, we then
Yeah.
can become like that super group instead of
The new
this 1%.
infrastructure. Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Power to the people. Well, I love that. And I love, so like when I look at like the highest expression of energy, I equate that with like God energy, right? A
Mm-hmm.
man's nature is to provide and protect.
Yes.
So when he's talking about that and owning that, I'm like, thank you. for like walking the walk and talking the talk, because this is exactly what a man should be doing, right? Like
Yes.
that's how we are provided for and protected is when men are in their
Mhm.
highest expression.
Yes. Well, then stepping
Yeah.
outside of fear too, because it's rolling back to that fear piece, that like not allowing other people's judgments to cause you to compromise yourself,
Yeah.
not accepting the criticism, or not doing something because you might be judged for that, but just deciding to step into your power and say, I'm not here to do this for anybody else. I'm here to do this for myself first, and then for my family and the
Yes.
people around me. And then
Yes.
every time you do that and you make those decisions to operate from your highest self, I feel like our
Hmm.
confidence increases and our fear decreases. So
Oh,
the more we
totally.
step outside and do those things that are against the grain, I think those are things that push us too. And I look at the job that I've had of doing Reiki and energy work as a job, that's not many people are doing that. So
No.
I'm having to step outside in different ways. And every time I do that or get another client or have another person message me and say, hey, so and so told me about you, that's that confidence boost that is reminding me that
Mm.
um, that I do need to step outside of fear, because if I'm not going to be
Yes.
willing to step outside of something that people don't really understand, then they're never going to learn that, and I'm just going to continue to just do what everybody else is doing.
Right. Totally. I love that. And like when I think of courage, I think of like physical embodiment. I think of like heart-led movement, right? Like when I think of like confidence, I think of the shadow side of that, like arrogance. And arrogance comes
Mm.
from ego, it comes from the head. It's not an embodied energy. When you meet someone that's arrogant, you're like, I don't freaking like this guy. You suck. Like, you know what? Like, I'm like, get away from me, dude. Like, you're dangerous. And I need to skedaddle. Mm,
See, and I think when you can
interesting.
hold on to a little bit of that, that's what, but they have to know, like they have to know
Agreed.
the difference between like ego and arrogance, but we also have to acknowledge um it takes somebody of a different type of confidence to be a little bit arrogant too, because they don't give a
Oh yeah.
shit as to whatever anybody else is thinking, right? So it's like,
Yes.
what's that balance of that? Because we don't want everybody to be, if we want confident men, we have to allow them to be confident and not say, oh, well, you're too much.
We also need to allow them to be masculine, right? Like,
Yes.
oh, we got a lot to work on.
Yes. But when we each do what we need to do, that will only feed into the next thing. And the more people that are
Absolutely.
willing to take the time to work on themselves in those different aspects,
Mm,
that will only grow, not just for
yeah.
each person individually, but again, like as that collective.
Yes. Um, I mean, that's an important piece to highlight, right? Because we are all in individual bodies, but we are all so much more connected than we are separate. We are all
Yes.
eternal spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. So we're more connected than we're supposed to know in this
Mm-hmm.
life. And that's kind of the fun of being human is figuring out how we are connected and why we are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the unity piece of that's I think how we get out of fear is by taking everyone as a part of yourself and offering the best version of yourself to them when they are in need.
Yes. Because
I
then you're
mean,
just showing, and that's another way to, they are vulnerable. But when you
mhm,
show like that you are connecting with them and encouraging of them, their confidence increases too. And like
yeah.
it's just that sharing um, that love energy and then impacting the environment around you too. Because if we're going to allow fear, and if we're going to acknowledge that fear influences us and our environment, we have to
Mm,
acknowledge that confidence and love influence ourselves and our environment too. So what do we want to
Yes.
operate in more? Do we want to operate more in
Right.
fear or power and confidence?
Yes. And I mean, think about how many people will have spent so much time in fear, right? You don't just jump from all this fear to happy and confident all the time. It's a gradual process. It's a drip by drip, step by step, um, one gracious
Practice.
moment after another. Yes, exactly. A practice.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Cute. I do believe we're all here to just walk each other home, right? Like, how do we get back to source? We embody
Yep.
it a little bit more every day, or God, or universe, whatever word you want to use there. I don't care.
Same word. It's a different word for the same thing.
Exactly. Same energy. Mm. Okay, let's talk about what fears did we personally have to face to get here today? How about that?
Mm. Like in life in general, or just this podcast episode?
Just, yes, in life in general for us to get to doing the podcast.
Um, oh, I think the fear of failure piece
Mm.
or making mistakes. Um,
Mine is like putting your foot in your mouth because that is a thing I do often.
yes,
As
same,
someone
same.
who is a yapper and an energet, like I'm an energy girly first and a human second. And so I
Yeah.
feel energy before I can put it into words. And a lot of times I don't have the words for the energy.
And I think a
Mm.
fear too for me to do it was um the perfectionist piece. It needs to
Mm.
look a certain way, it needs to sound a certain way, it needs to flow in this certain way. And then we just decided that we weren't going to do any of that. We decided that we were
I
just going to
know.
pick it out of a jar and just wing it. Um,
Yeah,
but I think,
same.
yeah, but then
Same
that's
for me.
that's just more training for us to
Yes.
boost that confidence and really think, okay, well, I do know, or I do have things to contribute. I do know what I'm talking about. I do know what my convictions are, because when you can just pull a piece of paper out of a jar and roll with it instead of
Mm.
thinking that it has to be formulated and prepped
Yes.
and scripted,
Mm.
um, or perfect, it takes away that authenticity and that realness of it too.
Yes. For my thought process there, I was like, Natasha and I could use for a bit of feminine energy. Like we're both very good at the masculine side of
Yeah.
energy. Let's 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 see how feminine we can get. Can we flow? Can we open and receive? Can we like give ourselves freely? Can we like let our hearts be vulnerable? Because I mean, I haven't really thought about it to this point, but to put yourself out there like this
Yeah.
on a stage where anybody can find you.
And
Uh,
judge.
yes, I mean our society is full of judgment. It's
Yeah.
crazy, right? Like, um, what's the saying? Like they attack the mirror because they don't realize it's a mirror.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
ouch.
Yeah. Yeah. Like whatever in me triggers you, it's something that you need to look at within yourself. And I take
Yep.
that like when I'm moving through the world, I take that when someone triggers me, I'm like, okay, I have to sit and I have to figure out what needs my attention here.
Yep.
What's the root of this trigger? Because this is about me. It's not about them. Because I'm living my life for me, and for
Hmm.
God. And then how can I be of service to that energy? And that's by
Yeah.
taking the best care of myself that I can so that I can show up in my community and be a helping hand.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, a lot of fear after we hit post and it's live on YouTube. I'm sure the fear will be I will have to work real hard to regulate this nervous system.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what's in my future, but
And I
handle
might
it.
just sit in my fear and not even watch them once.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit here and not even
Some
know the name of the state of the channel.
Oh, someone will be like, "You said this," and I'll be like, "I said what? What did I
Like,
say?
probably.
I probably didn't say it that eloquently.
uh,
Oh, okay, let's think of some more fears.
hmm.
What? I mean, my whole nervous system just lights up, especially up here when I think about it. I think it's like we grew up in an environment that it didn't exactly set us up to be ourselves, like to be safe, to be ourselves. And
Hmm.
I've worked so hard in the past, ooh, gosh, this has got to be since 2013, to really start eliminating, so like 13 years, eliminating things that do not make me feel safe
Hmm.
and doing everything I need to and everything that I can do for myself to make myself feel safe and set myself up to heal.
Hmm.
Ooh, I forget what I was saying at the beginning of that. What was my point?
Well, you were talking about looking more at fears, like working past
Oh,
fears.
about allowing yourself to be like your full authentic self. Like when we grow up in an environment where you have to like perform to get your needs met, and then you get to a point where you can stop doing that and you don't have to perform anymore. I feel like I've just spent the last 13 years of my life figuring out who I actually am and what do I actually value and what's important to me. Because before that, I was just doing what was expected of me. I was like
Hmm.
performing for love, essentially, and that did not work. That did not work.
It usually doesn't. Or
No.
yeah, not for the giver.
Mm-mm. And I knew my heart and I knew that I had a lot of love to give, and I kept finding myself in these really bad relationships. And so when I was able to like distance myself and get a little clarity, I did a lot of reflecting on like what was it that got me into those situations?
Mm,
And instead of being afraid of the mistakes that I made, can I sit with the mistakes that I made so that I don't have to keep re-experiencing the same mistake? Like, can I learn from it the first time? Or is it going to have to keep showing up as a shitty boyfriend
yes. Like,
to learn the lesson?
yeah, can I move past this, or can I not be too afraid to stay in the same spot, even though it was unpleasant? We get stuck in those patterns just because we don't know what the alternative is. And sometimes it's that fear of the unknown is what keeps us in
Mm,
something shitty, where, again, a lot of times it could be better, but we just aren't able to see sometimes that there is something else on the other side of that fence. So we just stay where we've already been, even if it's not
stay
good.
comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like a level of uncomfortable that we're okay with staying in, right? Because it's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Because the unknown is the scary part. And that's like some ego stuff, right? Because the ego, the ego is going to try to protect you. So it is going to try to keep you the same because it's predictable. It's reliable, right? It's familiar.
Yep.
It's steady.
There's definitely a lot of ways that fear impacts us. 'Cause it stops us from doing something, um, holds us back. And it's really, how can we then shift into that power and that strength to then get and do the things that we need, instead of continuing to
Yes.
operate on the same little hamster wheel
Yep.
that we know sucks anyways. Like,
Yeah.
why are we still on this merry-go-round?
Yeah. If we're already suffering, we might as well suffer for good to get ourselves out of here.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yep.
Mm, that's a
Good
good one.
stuff. Yeah.
I need something more grounding. I'm gonna have to remember that for the future. Like I'm so up. Oofda. Okay, do we have any final thoughts on fear?
I think for me, fear will have as much power as I allow it. So hopefully that would be a final thought for someone else too, is, if you don't like your situation, then what are you going to do to make it different? What power and
Mhm.
control are you going to take to like steer to your direction of things that you want?
I love that. Um, I think that's so concise and I don't want to muddy the waters, so let's end there. That's it.
Okay.
Lead with love. Mm. Okay. Episode one and done.
Ching ching.
Okay.
All
See you guys
right.
later.
Thank you guys. Bye.